Okay. Like I was saying, this is going to be a little bit different. I'm not actually going to teach. This is more of a review video, but I want to make sure that you guys get the information. This is not going to stick around on YouTube. Pass the test is not something I'm going to leave, but I'm going to leave this up for your test if you guys want to go back and study a little bit as you're getting ready, okay? As you guys came in, hopefully, if you haven't done so yet, if this is my 4th hour class, if you guys are watching this, please open up to Canvas. If you haven't done so in this class, please open to Canvas. Go to the page that says all 3 forms of a quadratic, okay? And you're going to click on the very top one. It says the 3 forms of a quadratic. I want you to open that up in Cami, okay? The note sheet that I have, I kind of looked at it. I think this one's actually a little bit better, so I'm going to let you take notes on your computer today, okay? But please, 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 please be young people of character. Do things the right way because you do have an assessment coming. I'm not going to babysit your screens today. I just don't have time for all that, okay? So please follow along. The information that I'm going to give you is very, very helpful, okay? After we're done, I will have some more instructions for you guys, what you're going to do for the rest of the class period. We do have a quick check today that you guys are going to take, and then you have your assessment on Thursday and Friday, depending on if you're A day or B day, okay? Any questions so far? Okay, everybody good? Yes, ma'am. Oh, seriously? Okay, hang on. Let me oh shoot. Let me go to Lightspeed real quick and I will unblock it so you can get to it. Okay? Yeah, hold on. Wait, it works now? You got it? Okay. Is everybody good? All right, so today we're going to practice all 3 forms of a quadratic. Now remember, we have standard form, we have vertex form, we have factored form. You guys remember those? We're going to talk about all 3 of them again just to make sure that we have them and what information you can get off of them, okay? I really, really like the notes that I'm about to give you now. I do have some additional note sheets that you can take, you can practice to get ready for your test, okay? All right, here we go. 3 forms of a quadratic. Here's the very first part that you see. Is everybody on the same page? All right, here we go. If a is greater than 0, which way does the parabola open? Now we're talking about ax squared plus bx plus c. This is your, if you need to, write this down. This is standard form. Standard. Standard form is this one right here, where there are no parentheses, there are no anything else, okay? There's nothing else. This is standard form, so put like a little note somewhere in there. If a is greater than 0, the parabola opens up, because think about it. If it's greater than 0, doesn't that make it a positive? Yes? Okay. If it's less than 0, which way does it open? Down. Okay. If it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes. You guys remember those now? You're like, okay, it's already coming back to me. All right. All right, here we go. The only information you can get off of this is like we just talked about the A. If the A is positive, it can go up or down. And then the letter C. What is C? Do you guys remember? What does C represent? Anybody remember? Say it louder. The y-intercept. That's exactly right. That is your y-intercept. Okay, that is your y-intercept. Okay, everybody good on that so far? If you want to, you can get a blank piece of paper. You can write it down on that if you would like to. I'm okay with that. If you don't want to do it on your computer, you can absolutely get the notes and just kind of, write the equation. C is the y-intercept. All right, here we go. So if they gave me the equation y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 1, okay? So is that one going to go up or down? First of all, what is that? Is that positive or is that negative? So which way is that going to go, guys? This one's going to go up. Okay, and what is my y-intercept? What's the number on the end, guys? 0 what? Negative 1. So my y-intercept is actually going to be right here. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I can type in the equation. You guys can use Desmos graphing. When you guys take your test, I'm going to allow you to use Desmos. Okay. So you can use Desmos for the graphing part. Everybody good? You can use Desmos for the graphing because you're allowed to use Desmos on your STAR test. So I'm not going to I'm trying to help you out. Okay. If you wanted to type it in, I believe it's going to look like this. Since this is greater than 0, it's actually going to be a little bit wider. Vertical compression. You guys remember that? You guys remember vertical compression, vertical stretch? Remember vertical stretch where the sides get skinnier? You guys remember that? Vertical compression, it gets wider. Remember we talked about pushing down like on a cake. Okay, yeah, I see a lot of nodding. Everybody's good? All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Everybody good with that one? All right, the next one. This is going to be vertex form. This one's going to be vertex form. Okay. This form right here, maybe if you could type in on your computer, this is vertex form. Okay, same thing as before. You still have the A on the front. If the A is greater than 0, which way does it open? Up. If it's less than 0, which way does it open? Down. Remember, if it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. Okay? Positive up, negative down. Yes? Please, if nothing else, don't miss that part. All right, here we go. What is HK? What form is this called? So what do you think this is? That's going to be your vertex, okay? So we can take our vertex out of that form and actually get, or we could actually take the numbers out of the vertex form and find the vertex, okay? I was trying to get the wording correctly. All right. So on this one right here, does it open up or does it open down? This one opens down because of why, guys? Yeah. Yeah, you're good. I'm tired too. We're all good. All right. This one opens down. We're good. All right. So what is my vertex? Do you guys remember? Why is it positive 3? If it's in parentheses, do not forget to flip the signs. I see a lot of people typing a lot really quick. That's good. If it's in parentheses, don't forget to flip your signs. So your vertex is positive 3, positive 1. You guys remember that now? Positive 3, positive 1. So that would be here, right here. Which means my axis of symmetry is what, guys? What is my axis of symmetry? Hold on. Positive 3. Okay, remember your axis of symmetry? Please remember this, okay? Please remember your axis of symmetry always goes right through the vertex. Yes? It's always the x number, okay? So if my axis of symmetry, or if my vertex is 3, 1, my axis of symmetry is x equals 3. It goes right through here. And this one, if I try to draw it, it's going to be something like this. Yes? Everybody good? Yes? We're okay? Good, good, good. Any questions on vertex form? No? Okay. All right, let's go to the last one. We've talked about standard form. We talked about vertex form. What's left? So, factored form. All right, here we go. Factored form. Hope the beads aren't making too much noise on the microphone. It's Fat Tuesday today, so I had to wear the beads. Okay. All right, here we go. This is factored form. This is factored form. Same thing as before. If you notice, this rule hasn't changed. If A is greater than 0, which way does it go? Up. If A is less than 0, which way does it go? Down. Everybody good so far? Yes? All right, here we go. Does anybody remember what R1 and R2 are? What'd you say? Root? What'd you say? You're both correct. I heard roots. I heard zeros. What else could they be called? Solutions. Okay. What? I think there was one more. I can't remember the word. Okay. R1 and R2 are your solutions. Okay. Or your roots. Or your zeros. Or whatever. It's basically the point where they cross the what? What is it? The x-axis. It's the point where they cross the x-axis. Everybody good on that? Pretty simple. All right, here we go. 1/2 x plus 3. Is it going up or is it going down, by the way? Is it positive or is it negative, guys? It's positive. So which way does it go? Up. But it would be vertical stretch. So it would like stretch it. Okay. I believe that's right. 1/2. I don't think I have that backwards. Maybe I do. Now I'm having my own little... All right, here we go. Positive 3? What's my root? Well, remember, if it's in parentheses, negative 3, 0. And what's the other one? It'd be positive 1, what? 0. Yes? Everybody good on that? All right, so if I had to plot this, it would be negative 3, 0 and positive 1, 0, correct? Could I find the axis of symmetry from here? Could I find it? Yes, it's always, where is it? And you have the 2 points. It's in the middle, okay? So it would be, if I go one here, and then I go another one here and another one here, it would actually be negative 1. Would you agree? So my axis of symmetry would be x equals negative 1. Okay, my axis of symmetry is negative 1. It's always in the middle of your roots. It's always going to be in the middle of your roots, okay? Everybody good on that? Sometimes it's decimal, sometimes it's not, okay? All right, I'm going to pause the video for just a second. I want you guys to open up the canvas. I'm going to open the canvas too so I can get you guys your assignment, okay? So I can tell you what we're doing today. Okay, like I said, normally I wouldn't do this during the notes, but just because I'm going to be gone, I want to make sure that you guys have the right information, okay? Right here, this is where we're going to go. Is everybody in here in Canvas, okay? I did have it backwards, okay? Vertical stretch, if it's above 1, it's a stretch. If it's a fraction, it's compression. Yes, it gets wider. I was saying that. I knew when I was saying it, I was like, something's not right, okay? The bigger the number, the stretchier it gets, okay? If it gets below, if it's between 0 and 1, it becomes vertical compression. It gets wider, okay? If it gets to a negative, then it flips over, okay? That's my fault. Mistake. Okay. All right, here we go. So practicing all 3 forms of a quadratic, okay? This is the form that we just did. This is the foldable. Everybody's on this, right? Everybody's still there. You also have, I would highly, highly recommend doing this blue kit practice. You can do this by yourself. You can press and play solo. I have a little study sheet that I'm actually going to put right here that you guys can have. Okay. If you have a sub in the class, I have it on the desk. Hopefully the sub will get it for you guys. But I do want you guys, towards the end of the class, we're also going to do this quadratic forms quick check so you can kind of see, like, okay, I kind of understand what's going on, or I don't understand what's going on. Does everybody understand? I just said understand quite a bit. Is everybody cool? Okay. So we're working through this page right here. Okay. But I would very much recommend that you work on this blue kit and take it serious. And I want you to play solo so we're not just clicking there and you guys are so worried about points and trying to win and all that other stuff. I really just do not care. Okay. I don't care who wins as long as you pass the test tomorrow. Okay. So we're going to practice solo today. Questions? Any concerns? Anything you guys need to know? This is 100% a review day. I went through all 3 forms with you. And there's a few other things that I will cover. I will look at your assessment here in a minute just to make sure that I'm not missing something. And I'm actually going to pause the video. And if I need to come back, I will come back in and tell you what I did not cover on the test so that you guys can fully be ready for your assessment on Thursday and Friday. Cool? All right, go ahead and get started. Okay, so I've decided to go ahead and do a full test review so that you guys understand what's going on. So let's go ahead and go through this, okay? I have the test in front of me. I'm about to tell you exactly what's going to be on this test, okay? So this is a benefit to watching the video, paying attention to the video. Those of you that are in class, go back, watch it again, okay? And so on, okay? Now, for my Wednesday classes, obviously, I'm going to tell them, hey, you're going to have to just kind of scroll through the video about, I don't know, how far? 13 minutes forward, okay? And you'll be able to watch it again. So if you want to go back and watch this review, it's going to be on the same video. It's going to be on the Quadratics 3 forms. So I'm going to label it like Quadratics 3 forms video. And then I'm also going to put it down as a Quadratics review, okay? It'll all be one video. Cool? All right, here we go. First one. Given the following transformations, they're going to give you an equation, okay? It says you always start with x squared, right? It says, what would be the correct equation? It says you have to figure out, write these words down. A reflection, which means it goes from a positive to a what? Negative. You want to write this down? This would be good to have. I'm going through the test. Okay. You're also going to shift either left or right. So you need to know in the parentheses. Remember, it's backwards. Okay. Left goes to the right. I'm sorry. Positive goes to the left. Negative goes to the right. You guys remember it's backwards in parentheses. You guys remember that? Negative goes to the right. Positive goes to the left, okay? And then it says you're going to shift up or down. So you need to know that up and down is on the outside. So hopefully you remember this. We have A, and then we have this shift. X, if it's positive, it goes left. If it's negative, it goes right. And then we have positive and negative. If it's positive, it goes up. Negative goes down. Remember those? You guys remember that? Please write that down. Okay, that will help you. Number 2 is literally in vertex form. It says, here's your equation. What's the vertex? You just have to find the vertex. You guys, there's going to be a bunch of you guys, and I promise you this is what's going to happen. You're not going to change the sign of the parentheses. You're going to leave it as a negative or a positive. Remember, you got to change the sign. If it's a positive, it's a negative when you pull it out. If it's a negative, it's going to be a positive when it comes out. Everybody good? We just did one of those, so I'm not going to do it again. All right. Next 3 questions, they're going to give you a graph. It's going to determine the vertex. You need to know minimum or maximum. Write those words down, minimum or maximum. Minimum or maximum? You want paper? I can get you a pencil. Yeah, I can. She's going to get you a pencil. Thank you. Okay, you have to be able to identify the vertex. You need to know what minimum or maximum it is. It's going to say minimum or maximum, so you have to figure the correct drop. Okay, if it's going up, it's minimum. If it's going down, it's maximum. All right, here we go. And then it says, determine the zeros. What are the zeros? X-axis. Write it as an ordered pair with no spaces. So you need to do the parentheses like 0 or 7 0, -2 0. You need, if you put 0 and then a number, you're going to get it wrong. Remember, zeros are this. Okay, zeros are a number 0. Okay, the 0 is the y. Okay, you need to know that. That is extremely important. If you put it the other direction, if you do this 0 8. That is not correct. That is your y. That is on the y-axis. That is not. That would be the y-intercept. Okay. Remember, it's always the opposite letter. Okay. If you're trying to find the x's, the y is going to be 0. If you're looking for the y-intercept, the x is going to be 0. Okay. The opposite letter is always 0. Okay. And then determine the axis of symmetry. Stuff we've already talked about. Yes. If you know the vertex, do you know the axis of symmetry? Absolutely. All right. Here we go. True or false? The following function has a minimum or a maximum point. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. True or false. And then they give you the equation. So you just have to determine, does it go up or down? And you just tell me, does it have minimum? Use Desmos, please. Please use Desmos. Just type it in, hit enter, and just look at your graph. Fair? True or false? That one should be easy. Next one. They're going to give me an equation. Determine the equation in vertex form. So find the vertex and find the right equation. Okay, find the vertex, find the right equation. They give you the graph. You have to find the vertex and put it in the correct vertex form. Now, let me show you this. They are going to do this. Okay? If they have a number, they're going to give you an equation like 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Okay? If they give you a vertex form, do you see this number right here? When you put it into vertex form, that number is going to stay. The a does not change. Everybody with me on that? The a does not change, okay, and it won't change in your equation. I just don't want that to mess with you. Actually, it does change a little bit. There's one that does change. It should be wrong. If it's 2 here, it's going to stay as 2. You guys with me? The a, does the a ever change? No, the a does not change. Okay. What is the range? You need to find the range of a graph. Remember, it's greater than or less than, depending on if it's going up or down. You need to find, remember, the bottom or the top. That's going to be your y number. It's going to be your y number. How would the graph change if you did this? And that's where they give you vertical stretch, vertical compression, shift left, shift right, shift up, shift down, or reflection. You have to tell me which changes it makes, and you can select multiple boxes. Okay, so you need to know what transformations. So I'll maybe go back and watch transformations or practice them today. Okay, or practice them. Number 10, which of the following does not apply to a quadratic function? They give you the equation. If they're giving you the equation, what can you put it in? Desmos. Just put it in Desmos and just tell me which one's not true. Okay, fair? Given the factored form, give me the correct roots. Just tell me the roots. Okay? They give it to you in factored form, just tell me the roots. All right. If there's a number on the front, like 2, let's say it says x plus 3 and x minus 5, does this change the roots? Say no. No. My roots would still be -3, 0, and then 5, 0. You guys, you notice they changed. They changed. You guys notice that? You can write that down? That's good. It's good information. This doesn't change it. What this changes is if your graph looks like this, and if I put the 2 on the front, it's the same x's. It's just going to make your x's, it's going to make it lower, which makes it stretch. Okay, that's what it does. Yes? No, it doesn't need to be squared because you've got 2 of them right here. Okay. And that is your test. There are 12 questions on it. Okay. Anything that I haven't, is there anything that I haven't covered? We've covered all that information. Agreed? Yes, we've covered. Okay, important parts. Minimum, maximum. Know your 3 forms. Okay. Please know that the parentheses changes the signs. It's backwards. Oh my gosh. There are a lot of parentheses on the test. If you do not remember that part, you will mess up a lot. You will not fail it. You will not pass this test. If you do not remember that the parentheses changes the signs, you will not do well on this test. Everybody good? Yes? Zoning out a little bit? Don't zone out on me. Okay, is everybody all right? Okay, please make sure that you're ready for this. Go back and watch this more than once if you need to, okay? Because after we take this test, I'm probably going to delete this video because it's kind of an unorthodox video, so I don't want to keep this one on the YouTube page. But I will leave it up until we take the test. Cool? All right, you guys can start your studying. Here in about 10 minutes, I'll give you a break, then we can finish the hour doing some more studying, okay? All right.